Good morning, everybody. I'm going to read some verses from Isaiah 58 and on prayer. And he says on fasting in this, and really here he's saying, he just says, is this a fast that I have chosen to afflict your soul and bow down your head like a bulrush and to spread sackcloth and ashes? Do you call that a fast and acceptable to the Lord? No. Is this not a fast that I have chosen, to loose the bands of the wicked, to undo the heavy burdens, and to let the oppressed go free, that you may break every yoke? Like, it's hard to think, like in the psalm, he says, it is our iniquities that have separated us from God. It's not that God does not answer. And then he goes on here to say, is this not acceptable, to deal your bread to the hungry and to bring the poor that are cast out of your house? When you see the naked, that you cover him, and that you do not hide yourself from your own flesh. Then shall your light break forth as the morning, and your health shall spring forth speedily, and your righteousness shall go before you. The glory of the Lord shall be your rear guard. Then shall you call on the Lord, and he will answer, and you will cry, and he will say, here am I. If thou take away from the midst of thee the yoke, the putting forth of the finger, and the speaking vanity. So, like, this is Isaiah 58, and he's talking about a fast that is acceptable to the Lord, meaning, like, should we fast? And the answer is we should. Jesus does say that we should fast from many things. Food seems to be one of the key things. The Bible, of course, maybe these days, our phones, they're so addictive to all of us. But here he's really saying it is really the kind of lack of compassion, the judgmentalism, the lack of good works in us, and that the doing of these is much better than the other things. Like, where does it say also? He says, to obey is better than sacrifice. And like, there's another time he says that, like, your prayer or your offering is like you sacrifice a dog's head, meaning that, like, it's got all the outward form but it's no good. So these are the things that are difficult for us. Like, we can do the prayer and we can do the those kind of things, but the attitudes are all wrong, and God is kind of not that interested in us and not that interested in our prayer when he's kind of looking on the heart all the time. So, and in a way, he's calling it a fast here because it's kind of like we have to restrain ourselves from our, selfishness, and restrain ourselves from our criticism and our judgmentalism. And that kind of, he's saying you got to fast from those things. And then he will hear. And then he just says at the very start, he says, like, is this a fast that you call this a fast, a day for a man to afflict his soul, to bow down his head as a bulrush and to spread sackcloth as ashes? Do you call this a fast and acceptable to the Lord? Jesus kind of says similarly in that he kind of says, like, if you fast, don't be a show off. Don't make a big show out of the thing, and don't put your head down and like he's saying here, like a bulrush and sackcloth, and so that you receive. We heard from yesterday, Pastor Carl saying there's two words for reward. One of them is an immediate reward, that is praise of men, that, and the other one is a slow reward, like, kind of, what did he say, blue chip shares giving constant dividends continually. That God is continually blessing our life in many ways, in just a wonderful flow in our life, and that is how God. And here he says here, um, then will your light break forth as the morning, and your health shall spring forth speedily, and your righteousness shall go before you, and the glory of the Lord shall be your rear guard. Then you shall call, and the Lord shall answer. You shall cry, and he shall say, here am I, if you take away the midst. So this is the kind of reward that God gives when he begins to answer our prayers. There's just that kind of springing forth. Look at those beautiful phrases. Your light shall break forth as the morning. Your health shall spring forth speedily. Your righteousness shall go before you. The glory of the Lord shall be your rear guard. You shall call upon the Lord, and he shall say, here am I. And this is a beautiful answer to God's prayer. But there is the fast that God says that He looks from us. And is it a fast? I think it is. And He's saying this fasting of food, which is an afflicting the soul. Of course, Jesus speaks of it in the New Testament, and it is part of the Christian life, and a very valuable part of the Christian life. And it is, he calls it here, afflicting your soul, because it gives an affliction. We are made for food. The body needs food. We cannot live without food. And so there's a kind of a hurt and an affliction in the way there. But likewise, it seems that this other fast is also not easy, and it is one that is very necessary for us. So, amen.